This video is in partnership with Deck of Scarlet, and today I will be aiming to recreate this striking Swarovski blue eye that Pat McGrath created on the model Venetria for her foundation launch, which also gave me such Euphoria vibes. If you guys have seen that show, the makeup in that show is stupendous. Okay, so today I will be integrating this month's Holo Glam kit into today's video. The first product is their liquid glitter in the shade Galactic. Next, we have their strobe drops in the shade Ultraviolet. And lastly, we have their Supernova Lip Shine in the shade Halo. Alright, starting off with the eyes, the most intricate part of this tutorial. First, I'm going to go ahead and take the liquid glitter in the shade Galactic. It starts off wet, but it does dry down. And I'm just going to go ahead and stipple that onto my brow bone as my brow bone highlight. Next, I'm going to move on to this lip palette. I'm going to take the blue shade and I'm just going to start applying that to my lid, trying to create the same shape as the other eye. It's going to start off looking a little rough, looking a little messy, looking a little unkept. But this is just me trying to map it out to match the other side. And I'm just going to go back and forth between the original brush and then this more precise brush, just so I can get it as crisp and as clean as possible. And then you're just going to see me go back and forth with cleaning it up with some concealer so I can get the most cleanest shape I can get. And if you are not familiar with Deck of Scarlet is a monthly subscription service. Every 2 months they do partner up with beauty creators on their full face palettes, and then in the in-between months they do have their monthly curated kits, and this month is that curated kit that you're seeing me use in today's video. And if you have never tried Deck of Scarlet before, there is a 30% off coupon code in my description box, so go ahead and check it out and get your first month for 30% off, honey. Back to the eyes now. I have moved on to my lower lash line, which was a bit more difficult to do just because the way my under eyes dip, and I wanted to shape it in a way in which when I laid the crystals down, it was very comfortable to wear. This actually took me a very long time to do. This whole eye process took about 6 hours, girl. It wasn't a quick process, it was very intricate. Now that we have the shape that we desired, I'm just going to go ahead and set it with some translucent powder. I don't really care that the translucent powder is leaving a cast because we're going to place crystals over top of it anyways. Moving on to the Swarovski crystal application. You can actually go ahead and pick these up at Michael's. Michael's always has deals, always has coupons. I'm going to adhere it with some Duo Lash Glue, my favorite lash glue. So I'm just placing a dot of glue, taking some tweezers, and then just placing the crystals on top. I bought a bunch of different sizes of crystals, so it just wasn't all one size. So I go back and forth between each eye and place them accordingly because I wanted both of the eyes to look very equal. And yes, if you're wondering, this was very heavy. You just kind of feel your lids start to get more droopy and droopy as you apply the crystals. So it was very heavy on the eyes. I wouldn't recommend wearing this for long periods of time. Really, after I finished filming this video, I took it right off after I took my pics and my videos because it was very uncomfortably heavy, I will say that. And over 200 crystals were applied in the making of this video, honey. About over 100 crystals were on each eye. Alright, I had to apply the more smaller crystals off camera because I had to get really up close to my mirror. But we're almost done applying the crystals. I did run out, so there are a few gaps in my eyes as you can see. But this is what it looks like. Lashes are on. Now we're going to go ahead and finish off the base. So I'm going to go ahead and take those strobe drops in the shade Ultraviolet. I kind of use this as a primer under my makeup so the holographic iridescence shows through my foundation. But I'm pretty sure this is not really really a primer. I think you can just apply this to the high points of your face to act as a liquid highlighter or to act as a beam of highlight that shows through your foundation. So, you know me, I just use it all over my whole face because you know I'm heavy-handed. Y'all saw all that product I put on my doggone face, so I just had to spread it out. But we're gonna focus on very skin-like natural makeup today. So I'm just taking a little bit of foundation and I'm just buffing it in with a brush. I'm not going heavy-handed. We're going very light. We want a very natural base, a natural finish to our base. We don't want a cakey face. We don't want the full coverage beat that I usually be doing. So that's why I'm using a brush this time. People say brushes give you more full coverage, but I honestly feel like brushes give you a more natural skin-like finish. I feel like sponges give me a more fuller coverage. But anyway, that's just me, girl. Alright, after all of that is buffed in, I'm just going to take a little bit of concealer. This one, it's almost out, girl. She's looking real dry. Anyways, I'm just going to apply that to the center of my face. You know, my chin, my forehead, under my eyes, the bridge of my nose. And I'm just going to buff it in with the same exact brush because I don't really care if anything mixes in. We're going for a very skin-like, natural finish, as I said earlier. And then to buff in my concealer under my eyes, I'm taking a more precise brush just so I don't get foundation and concealer onto the crystals because I want those to retain their shine, their rainbow-like shine finish. And then I'm just going to buff it out with that same foundation brush. We're going to use this brush throughout the whole routine. And I don't know what it is, but doing more skin-like natural bases are so much more difficult for me. I don't know. I think I overthink the blend. And when I still see my skin shining through, I get a little bit uncomfortable. Because it did feel off. It's like my eyes are heavy. I kind of want a glam base, but I did want to stick to the natural base because in Euphoria, they had very fun, editorial, cool, artsy makeup, but their base was still very natural. They wasn't doing too much like how I be doing too much, okay? Moving on, I'm going to go ahead and carve out my cheekbones as well as my jawline with a stick foundation that is more of a bronzer shade for me. I've been loving to do this lately. Ever since I tried out Jackie Aina's face routine, I just been loving incorporating some of her steps into my routine, and I really love the results. So we're just going to buff that in with the same foundation brush that we were using. And this blends right in, and it gives just a more soft bronze tour effect to your face than like, you know, a powder. Even though I still use powder, I put it over top, okay, just for that finishing touch. Alright, after that's all blended in, I'm going to go ahead and take some loose banana setting powder and just set the places in which I concealed, which are my under eyes, my chin, my nose, as well as my forehead. And to set the rest of my face, I'm just taking a powder close to my skin tone, a more flesh toned powder, and I'm just going to lightly pat that into the rest of my face. Alright, now we're going to sculpt our nose, but I'm going to do a very soft sculpting. So I'm just taking some bronzer and then I'm just going up the sides of my nose and just lightly sculpting it out. I don't want anything too harsh, but I do like for my nose to be contoured, so I'm doing that for that purpose as well. Now I'm just going to go ahead and take my brow pencil, and I like to create very dramatic hair-like flicks in the front of my brows. It's just my thing. I like the way it photographs and I just like the way it looks. But if you all up on me, it looks very intense. Now I'm just going to go ahead and take some powder and just clean up under my bronze tour because I brought it down too far. And I just wanted a little bit more chiseled look since we are very soft today. Now I'm just going to go ahead and take some blush and apply that to my cheekbones and blend it right into my bronze tour. And I'm just going to lightly and softly apply some highlight to the high points of my face. I really only apply the littlest amounts of highlight. When the light hits it, it's still going to shine and look good, so I didn't want it to look too heavy, but it looks more heavy than it actually does just because, you know, the way light hits highlight and the glitters deflect and reflect and project. Lastly, I'm just going to apply a flesh toned nude to my lips, and then I'm just going to go ahead and top it off with the Supernova Lip Shine in the shade Halo, which has a very greenish, pinkish, holographic-ish, chromatic iridescence to it. And this completes my Pat McGrath inspired Euphoria Swarovski blue eye. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. I love you guys so much. And until next time, always remember to serve, honey. And I will see you in my next upload. Bye.